There's a lot of stuff. The world commonly says that everything that is legend originated in truth. Mm-hmm. So, you need to go back. They mention unicorns in the Old Testament. They mention Leviathan, which is a mythical sea monster.
Ursula.
Ugh. So, we could go deep, and we will in a lot of other videos, but...
That's why I don't like when people mess my name up and call me Ursula.
Yeah.
I had to correct them. I don't care if they call me Isla. I don't care if they call me Isla. Don't call me Ursula. My name is Isola. Please don't call me that Leviathan sea witch. Please don't.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyways, okay, so Terica, you are going to talk about Luca.
So... if your spiritual eyes aren't open, a lot of what we're saying might go over your head, but that's okay. You don't have to understand it. I will say that the things that were kind of magnified to me was that sea monsters are kind of equivalent to demons.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people think of, well, hell is under the earth. Mm-hmm. And so you look at something coming out from under the earth we live on, an unknown area, because only, 5% of the ocean has been explored. Yeah. So an unknown area, something is coming out of there, and it's assuming what we look like. Mm-hmm. So, it's much deeper, and a lot of people say it ain't that deep.
Oh, it's that deep.
It doesn't take all that.
Hey, where did when Jesus cast the demons out of the man in that territory, where did they go?
They went all into the ocean.
They asked if they could go in the pigs. Mm-hmm. Then where'd the pigs go?
They drowned them in the ocean.
Yep. And if you live near a body of water, mm-hmm. like if you were raised in Florida,
mm-hmm. or an island,
mm-hmm. pay attention. If you were raised near a coast,
yep,
you may need deliverance. Just saying. Saying it because I've been there. Well, go ahead. That's not what this is. That's not what this is about.
No, but these are just,
ask the Lord for wisdom on this. But
right.
Okay, so that's essentially what Luca is about.
Yeah,
it's about these water spirits.
And it reminds me of Revelation, how everyone tries to assign a meaning to something, but it's very clear cut. And there's a beast that comes out of the sea. How much clearer could these things be? And if you don't read your Bible, read it. If you've never read your Bible and you're a baby Christian, read the New Testament. You want to find out about Jesus, but read the letters, because those people were somewhere that had no idea of what the Jews, the Hebrews ever went through, their history, nothing. So it teaches you what you're supposed to do as a new believer, and then just listen to the audio from Genesis to Revelation, and then start studying. Because once you do that, your spiritual ears will start to be open, and the Holy Spirit will start to speak to you.
Yeah.
But you have to ask for the Holy Spirit. It doesn't just come to you when you raise your hand and say, I want to be saved. Like, you have to take action when you ask Christ in your life.
He's a gentleman. Unlike his adversary, the devil.
Right.
Our adversary, who's not a gentleman. Like, the Bible spells out the contract you make with God.
Yeah.
All the details are there, and he wants you to read it. He asks you to read it. But the enemy doesn't do that. You're signing a contract with him, but he's not like, look at these terms. I want to make sure you understand these terms before you sign this contract. That will take you to hell. He doesn't do that.
Everything is in fine print.
It's a deception all the way through and through. He will come as an angel of light. He will come as another Pixar movie. Wonder why? He will come as an angel of light. He will come as a Disney Pixar cartoon to your kids, so they can grow up already accustomed to this garbage, teaching it to their children and their children. It's called a generational curse.
Yep.
Versus a generational blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So our families, we have generational blessing that we're passing on.
We're founding generational blessings.
Right.
We're stopping the curses.
Oh, it stopped here, right?
There's a clip in the very, very beginning, right? It just kind of shows you Luca's house under the water, what he does. But he comes up to the water. And when you're under the water and you can see the top, right? And you're like, oh, okay, that's where the water breaks. He hesitates a couple of times. And he's so nervous. Mm-hmm. And there's this kid he's never met. Mm-hmm. He's the same as him. And he's like, come on. And he puts a hand down and he pulls him out the water. And so he's teaching him how you walk, how you balance, how you do all this stuff. And I was like, they're really trying to make it seem like this is so innocent. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, this new world, and oh, this is scary to me. And there's nothing harmful about it. Luca is the innocent one in this movie. And the other boy, he's been wounded. And so he just wants a friend.
Yeah. So what I was noticing, because I didn't watch this because I figured it was something bad. Because I'm already on to, by this time, I'm already on to Disney Pixar.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not letting that into my eye gates and my ear gates. I'm not doing it. I noticed this, that Luca comes up. Mm-hmm. He seems innocent.
Right.
The little boy feels like he's in charge.
Yeah.
He's like, come on, let me show you everything. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the enemy wants us to do. He wants us to feel like we're in charge of this whole engagement with him. I get to decide when I'm going to turn on the movie and when I'm going to turn it off. Yeah. I'm not addicted to social media. I can get on it and get off it whenever I want. So when you're dancing with the devil, it's fun to dance. Yeah. But what happens when your feet start to hurt?
Well, what's funny is the boy, Alberto, he's the one that Luca is learning all this stuff from. Mm-hmm. So when they assimilate to the people, they make a friend, a human girl. Alberto gets jealous because he thinks he's going to lose Luca. And so closer to the end of the movie, Alberto forces the little girl away because he's like, I'm going to show her we're monsters, so she'll leave us alone and it can just be us again. Wow. And Lucas is like, oh, monster! So he turned his back on Alberto because he wanted to be friends with the girl. He didn't want her to know that he was a monster. And then she found out anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's not. Crazy. I mean, you look at it, that's human nature.
Well, that's pretty alarming. So do you know who any of these people are that are in this movie? Who did the voices?
No, I don't know the actors. But the clip where the man was on the boat with the boys. Mm-hmm. And Alberto was like, I wonder what he kills with these. It reminds me of how people used to be wary of spirits and demons. Yes. And that was the little girl that they made friends with, Julia. The two sea monsters made friends with a girl named Julia. That's her father. And so he used to hunt sea monsters. But now that these little boys have come in his life, he's really protective over them. He's gained this bond with them. And so even when he finds out they're monsters, he's like, they're just like us. So he completely changed from being on guard to welcoming them in. Wow. Even when he knew what they were.
So this, I mean...
And the father was instrumental in changing the mind of the entire town of not hunting or killing sea monsters anymore.
This is, okay, so I'm going to say this. At least parents should read the synopsis. Yeah. Before they let their kids watch something.
You would think.
Yeah, right? Like, I know you get tired and you're like, just go sit down and watch this. Yeah. So you can get a break, right? Right. But that's really setting yourself up for a lot of torment later.
And stress with discipline.
And this is how the enemy gets in. Like, so right now you've got like a rowdy, whatever, like a elementary school kid, right? And then when the enemy gets in, next thing you know, you've got a promiscuous teenager, or you've got a violent teenager, or like, rebellion times 100, So then it just, however he can get in, he will. And what's this little boy doing walking around on his own? Like, where's his parents?
Oh, yeah. In the movie, it explains that his father, at a certain age, abandoned him. Yeah. So he was left to fend for himself, and he was waiting on his father, never came back.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So this child had to grow up on his own.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. That is crazy. I'm going to read the synopsis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. This is coming from D23.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, that reminds me of our chromosomes.
Really?
23. So 46 chromosomes. Mm-hmm. If you look at 23 of them, you can tell somebody's a lot of stuff about their DNA.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Like 23andMe.
Yeah. Oh, that's clever.
So D23, this is an official Disney site. Anyways, that's weird. It says voiced by Jacob Tremblay, 13-year-old sea monster. Luca Paguru. Okay, so this says he's a 13-year-old sea monster. No, he's a since the beginning of time sea monster who inhabits a 13-year-old body of flesh. There's no age. He's super old spirit inhabiting a 13-year-old body.
So flesh. Possession?
Yeah. Or just a demon taking on human form. That's in the Bible. So
yeah, they can be shapeshifters.
Yes.
If you look at any accounts of like people in the occult that actually deal with this stuff and they see it and we think it's fake, it says that the devil presents himself as a very handsome young man.
Yeah.
So, and you look at this movie, most of the town, it's a few old people, some parents, majority children.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So here's what the rest of this says. Although, okay, hold on. 13-year-old sea monster Luca Paguro is curious but cautious. Although he's been warned that the human world is a dangerous place, he can't help but wonder what it's like above the water. He's never been to the surface, says director Enrico Casarosa. Sounds like he grew up around the water. Interesting. When we meet him, he's beginning to feel that his world is a little too small for him. His world, huh? He starts to follow his nose a bit. And we know that our nose represents discernment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Venturing further and further from the underwater meadow where he takes care of the goatfish.
He's a shepherd.
So he's a shepherd
of
under
fish.
Okay, interesting, Luca. Once a rule follower, like Satan, suddenly Luca is checking out an object that fell off a boat. That's how he meets Alberto. Soon, fellow sea monster Alberto takes Luca under his fin, exposing him to the human world of possibilities. So is Alberto, he's also a sea monster?
Yeah, that's the one that lifted him up out of the water. Oh. The one that was abandoned by his father. That's Alberto.
But he's also a sea monster.
Yeah.
So monsters unite.
Yeah.
And let me show you all the ropes so that you can do what you got to do up here.
Oh, side note. Luca's grandma, actually for years, has been going up and disguising herself as a person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't find that out till the end.
That is crazy. Oh my goodness. So this made me think about The Little Mermaid. It's literally the same sort of thing, only a little bit darker.
Yeah.
They made it romantic.
Well, they also didn't put any obvious evil undertones either, because at least The Little Mermaid had a sea witch in it. Evil entity trying to trick this little girl, this innocent little girl.
Oh, wow.
Because if you look at it, Disney movies used to be super dark. They had the Black Cauldron. They had a lot of other ones I can't really think of right now. I didn't watch the Black Cauldron until I was an adult. And even then it was dark and scary. But then you look at Sleeping Beauty. That was super dark.
Yes, it's murderous.
I'm just saying, like, they didn't spare any expense. And then you look at Snow White. Like, the stepmother literally sent someone out to cut her heart out and bring it back.
That is creepy.
And that was one of the very first Disney movies.
Wow, that's crazy. And also, there's, like, even before that, like Hansel and Gretel.
Those are actually Eastern European stories.
Really?
Yes. Like the Three Little Bears. The Three Little Bears actually was a story where this girl wandered out into the forest and these bears ate her.
See, that's crazy.
Yeah. And Cinderella was real dark too. Like
these are what, Grimm's?
Yeah, the Grimm brothers or something like that.
Who are clearly messing around in the demonic.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly.
If you watch the one with Matt Damon, even the adult movie, it's extremely dark.
Well, there was like a whole series on...
Brothers Grimm?
Is that what it's called?
That was
called
the movie.
Grimm? There was a whole series called Grimm. And it's all about like the human world integrating with these mythical fairy tale creatures, and it's very dark. And if you don't know better, then you're gonna like it because it's like, wow.
Well, it's an assimilation. I mean, it looks like back in the day, it was all taboo, and it was drawing people into that like witchy darkness, and it started to get darker and like less hidden.
Yeah.
And then they dialed it back.
Wow.
And then now it's going back forward.
Wow. Something that really gets me about this movie, Luca, is, okay, so when we had Little Mermaid, you had a little crab singing a song. Under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me.
Yeah.
And he says, up on the shore, they work all day. Under the sea, they laugh and play.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I knew every word, obviously.
Yeah, me too.
I loved it. I knew every word, to every line, every word. So that's essentially the message that this is giving to begin with, is that he doesn't know what it's like above the sea. And Little Mermaid, it's a little opposite.
It is opposite.
It's like the crab, Sebastian, is trying to get her to stay under the sea.
Because her life will be carefree and she doesn't have to do anything.
No work. Right?
But see, Luca was a shepherd, so he had a schedule. Like you see it in the movie, there was a certain time where he's supposed to come home.
He wasn't
had to go work. And then Luca and Alberto, they were like, we're going to get a Vespa. We're going to travel the world. We're going to just be carefree. So it's like reverse. Like you want to go on the land to be carefree because there's so much responsibility.
Yeah. He's basically been in training under the sea. And now it's time to go but he's got to go up above the sea and pretend it's play, but it's not play.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I really hate about this is, okay, so Little Mermaid really targeted little girls.
Yeah.
Because we all want our Prince Charming. We all want to be a princess. We all want this.
Yeah.
What I hate about this is it's like little boys are being targeted in this. Little boys. And it's playing on their adventurous side. It's like, and not just little boys, but the world has really twisted gender identity.
Yeah.
So you know how many little girls are watching this too, being like, I want to be like Luca.
And it's like it hits close to home. Like you see these things on social media and online, but when you see it in real life, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
They're really trying to make this normal.
I don't hate the parents. I don't hate the child. I feel sadness for them.
Well, you look at it over time, the identity crisis changed and shifted.
Yeah.
It was more like, okay, I'm a kid. I really want to be an adult. I don't know what to do. And then kids started getting more stressed and started cutting themselves but hiding it. Now it's, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl. I'm confused. But it's still the same struggle of who am I?
Yeah.
And I understand that because we all went through it. It's just like how we handle it.
Right.
And so even the research shows that if you don't play into it, if kids are struggling with that and you don't play into it and you just tell them, look, we're going to figure out who you are. You know, you can see this, but you need to see the other side too.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they grow out of it.
Right.
I myself was a tomboy. Didn't like wearing girly clothes. Wanted to roughhouse with my boy cousins. But I grew out of it.
Right.
You know, and so I think as parents and as adults, we need to set the standard, but allow our kids room to figure out who they are. And that's if you're in the world. If you're a believer, you need to set the standard for your kids that the word tells us who we are, tells us what we're worth. And people don't like that. But I was thinking about that this morning. It's nothing bad. Like, it's telling you that you're precious.
Yeah.
That you have a place, that someone loves you. And they set boundaries for you because they care. It's the same concept as a parent. But a lot of parents now don't understand boundaries.
Yeah.
Like our parents and their parents did. And set that for us. And so there's a breakdown there.
Wow.
And the thing is, in this movie, Luca's parents, they don't want him to get caught up because they see he's like, I forgot the way they described it, but he's drifting away and they're worried for him. So they want him to go and live with his uncle, which is like in the midnight zone, you know, where they have those anglerfish.
Yeah.
He's so weird. So weird. I'm sorry. There was a point where he was like, yeah, if I stop moving or something, he had him punch his heart to restart it. It was so weird. Yeah. But they were going to make him go live there with his uncle. So he started panicking. Mm-hmm. That's part of the reason why he wanted to go. He was running away from home.
Oh, okay.
That's why he went up on land. Wow. He was running away from home because he was afraid that he was going to have to go somewhere deep, dark, and away from everything he knew.
That's scary.
His parents were worried for him. They wanted him to have structure and all of that. And they thought it would help him grow up if he went to live with his uncle.
That's crazy.
So that's what catapulted him to going on to land in this movie.
Wow. I was just looking at, like, a couple of the characters. Mm-hmm. So Alberto's voice is done by Jack Dylan Grazer. And he says... I definitely have a lot in common. Wait, hold on. Alberto is fearless, funny, determined, and eager to see what he's capable of doing. I definitely have a lot in common with him, always trying to create something new, always finding the fun. And then Julia Marcavaldo. Julia Marcavaldo.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah. That's another one of the characters, and she's voiceovered by Emma Berman.
And I don't know any of these people.
I don't really follow either.
Yeah.
However, here's what she says, and I just thought this was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She says, Julia is really awkward, quirky, goofy, and determined character. I relate to her because we are both pretty outgoing. We love to make new friends, and we like to learn new things and go on adventures.
You know what's funny? One of the definitions I wrote down was determination.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the controlling of deciding of something's nature or outcome, or the act of officially deciding something. So you're not leaving it in God's hands. You're trying to take the reins and make something what you want it to be. And I think that's crazy because people think so much God is controlling. God won't let me make my own decisions. And I'm like, I mean, you can make your own decisions. He tells you straight up, you can make choices, but you're not going to be like it's not going to negate the outcome. There's still a consequence, but I want to protect you. So you should listen to me.
Wow.
People don't get that side of God because they see religion.
That's right. That's true. Do you remember the mom in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay. So Daniela Paguro. Paguro. Paguro.
Oh, that's the character's name.
Uh-huh. Listen to this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just want to caveat it first with saying the enemy always gives you a little bit of truth.
Oh, yeah. A paragraph of truth, but one sentence is a lie.
Basically, this is a taunt to the parents watching this movie.
Isn't
if your spiritual eyes are open, this is a straight up taunt.
Mm-hmm.
This is the enemy going, you really should protect your kids from this. But you're not going to because it's so entertaining and it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen to the character description here.
Of the mom. Okay.
Luca's loving mother, Daniela Paguro, is determined to keep her son safe.
Wow.
Voiced by Maya Rudolph, Daniela regularly warns Luca of the dangers beyond the sea and the land monsters who live there. I've definitely seen my mama bear come out when necessary with my children, so that was a pretty easy element of Daniela to relate to.
Yeah.
Notice all these actors and actresses are relating to the character.
Yeah.
And in that other movie, Onward,
yeah,
she actually says acting is in her DNA. Okay. Anyways, when your children are pushing boundaries,
mm-hmm.
you want to show them that you love them, but you're serious.
Yeah.
That can be an incredibly difficult balance, but one that every parent understands. Daniela has a very sweet, reoccurring mantra with Luca saying, you know I love you, right? I think that's really important for a character because she's not embarrassed to show how strong she is, and she's not embarrassed to show how much she loves her son. So why don't y'all be like Daniela?
My thing is like, okay, why does it have to be a mantra?
Yeah, that too. Like, what?
Yeah, we'll dive into yoga later, but it does have a lot to do with that. The mantras are over and over and over again. It's the same set of words.
Yes. Yeah, so you pick up on even that, like her use of that word.
Yeah.
And it just shows you how deep it does go. It's in it's threaded into everything. So even in this truth that you really do need to protect your kids from the land monsters. And
well, it's not even the land monsters. It's like, okay, so I've been seeing lately that not only do we need to set boundaries for our kids and tell them you can't do this, but you gotta tell them why.
Yeah.
Most parents don't do it because they don't know why.
They don't know. Well, maybe this will help them know.
Yeah. And so it's a common theme, the familiar. I'm familiar with this, so I'm okay with it.
Ooh, good point. Very good point. Okay.